Hi, so today we will be having a time management workshop and we will be doing on how to use your time wisely with virtual classes. My name is Karina Rodriguez. I am a UCSC peer advising leader and I will be showing some steps on how to create this. So, EOP, we are still open actually via virtual online. So you could connect with us through email or Zoom. Just email us at eop@ucsc.edu. And with our counselors, we are still able to make an appointment with the EOP counselors that we have through Zoom or email. But in order to do that, you will have to make an appointment through Success. So our agenda for this workshop will be, first we will talk about what is time management, and so we could have a better understanding of what it is, and then we will have a warm up and tips to manage your time, and lastly we will end up doing a time management grid where I'll be able to show you how to make one. So what is time management? Time management, it is the ability to use one's time effectively or productively, especially for a variety of tasks. This is especially very crucial right now that we are doing virtual classes, since it can be a bit difficult to manage your time effectively being back home or wherever you're at right now. So it is very important to do this. So, why talk about time management? So, the benefits on creating a time management like schedule or routine is it creates a healthy and well-being for you. Like it's really great for yourself. You get to meet certain deadlines that you have, and it reduces stress, any stress that you have, some stress. And aside to that, you will be able to do high quality work instead of doing it all last minute. So, how to use your time efficiently? So I created a do's and don'ts. So if you are having like on the don'ts, just know we will be creating one and hopefully I'll be able to help you with that. So the do's, do make a plan with a list of tasks and assignments. This is really great for you to have every day if you want. So you can at least cross them out and be like, oh, I finished this. This is great. Write deadlines. It's really great to know when is something due so you don't do it last minute and you don't feel that stress, that panic of like, I don't have enough time to do it. And then another one is do prioritize your tasks. So do the ones that are closely to the due date and then compared to doing the ones that are later on. It's really great to do this. That way you're like, okay, I'm going to do this one because it's about to be due. The other project or assignment that I have is due later on. Another one is set daily goals. So I just mentioned this. It's really great to make goals every day by creating to-do lists. Okay, like it doesn't have to be related just with school. You could do it for yourself, like, oh, do clean your room or do go outside for a bit, or do your chores or like do your reading assignments. And then another one that is a bit difficult as a college student, which I personally understand, is get a full night's sleep. So from what I know is 7 hours is actually really good for us. And I know it could be very difficult because it's like you have a lot of work to do, a lot of assignments, maybe you stay up. This is why it's really great to make a time management grid or like a schedule for yourself so you can at least get 7 hours of sleep. And the don'ts. So don't overcram a day without breaks. So if you notice you're on class through Zoom for a long time, it's really great that maybe after that class you take a small break, you know, maybe 5 to 10 minutes. You could time yourself, and that way you're like, okay, I'm gonna go back doing my work. It's really great to do that. Do not overcram. Another one, do not plan last minute for responsibilities. This could relate to having assignments that are due the next day. It's not great to do that. It just ends up making you stress. You won't sleep because maybe you're up late doing that. And then another one is really important. It's do not skip your meals, because just eating a meal or a snack, it will really help you give that energy throughout the day. So don't forget to eat. It's very important. We are students, but it's very important to eat. So I have some tips on how to manage your time, since it's like, well, now I'm talking about the benefits and everything, the do's and don'ts. So first is rank. Rank your tasks and assignments based on priority. So if you can do this right now or later on, you could write these tips that I'm making, and it'll be very helpful. But when you rank, be like, okay, the top list is going to be the ones that are about to be due and later on. And then another one, number two, daily to-do list. It is great to have daily to-do lists, because then you feel like you've accomplished something. I personally like it. It really helps me feel like I'm a bit effective with my time and I'm getting stuff done. Number three, organize and time limit yourself. So it is great to organize your um time, meaning have like, okay, I'm going to do homework for 30 minutes, then take a little break. um it's always great to time yourself if you want to like know, okay, am I really doing my work, am I just on my phone? It's great to do that. And number four I was going to mention is breaks. Always add breaks in between long study or tasks. So if you notice yourself you're doing too much computer time because of classes or such thing, put a timer on your phone, or if you have a timer on your watch, and do like a 5 or 10 minute break, stretch, or like do a little exercise or something like that, and take that small break. Little breaks make a huge difference, because then you come back and you end up finishing your work. And then lastly, in order to if you are consistent with this like type of routine and these tasks and tips that I'm telling you, it will become a habit. It will eventually become a habit, and you will get used to like this type of schedule that you end up having. So right now I want you to think of what classes and commitments are you involved. That's important. The second, how many hours of sleep do you have each night on average? It doesn't need to be exact. If you know exact, that's great. You can write that down. Number three, how many hours do you study each day? I know it could be a bit difficult to have yourself study, especially like now everything's virtual, and everything like that. But write that down, and this will be important later on for our time management grid that we'll be creating. So I want you to think of that, and you could pause the video and write these answers down, because I want you to think of that. It's going to be very important later on. Okay, so now for the good part. We are going to create a time management grid. So first, you could write this down as well, but I'm going to be talking about them. So step one, classes. Any classes that you have, including section or any like slug success, you know, that you have appointments, just put your classes and all of that. Step 2, other commitments and activities. So yes, everything is virtually now and we have to social distance ourselves, but if you are able to at least do a small workout home, this is really great. This is another thing that you could mention about. Or if you're working virtually, it's really important to think about. So the next step, step 3, is meal times. So meal times would have to be breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Yes, maybe it's like, oh, I'm not a breakfast person, but at least like something small is really important to at least eat, and not skip your meals. And another one is study hours. So we will put this in our time management grid that we'll be creating on our study hours that you want to put. And then step 5, personal time. This is the one that I kept mentioning about breaks. It's important to take small breaks. You need breaks. You can't just be overworking yourself. It doesn't go great. Okay, so now that we just mentioned the 5 steps that I want you guys to think about, I'm going to show you how this time management grid will end up looking. So in EOP, the UCSC EOP website, you could put EOP time management grid. So I just put that, can create a time management grid from EOP website. You will then download this Excel file. So from what you see is, this is an example that I created. So breakfast, you could color code them. So color code them, it's really great. So I put my breakfast, you just put breakfast, and then your lunch. But you see how classes are in there, and then everything else, and then like what I said, add your work if you do work or anything else. And then especially the next part is study. Study is all in red. It's always great to color code, you know? And then breaks. So, yes, maybe it's like, oh, but you just put one break. No, maybe like in between, if you're like, I'm not gonna put this here, but I'm gonna tell myself if I'm gonna be doing studying or if I'm gonna be doing something else, that I should at least like have like 5 to 10 minute break. So if you're like, I don't want to do this, a time management grid, you could actually do this through Google Calendar as well, which is free as well. And with that, the great convenience of that is you could get notifications on your phone or your laptop if you download the app. So, like I said, use colors for categories, put your classes, study hours, work, or any stuff that you have related to, like, physical exercise. If you do that, meal times, that's another great important one. Remember, add that. And for your classes, I would say if you're gonna do the time management grid, it's really good to have the time, so you could at least be like, oh yeah, I know what time it's gonna be. um I just recommend that, since like it could be a bit confusing when you're looking at the side of it. And then maybe you could put the Monday, Wednesday, Friday if you're gonna do that. But overall, don't be overwhelmed with your schedule. I know it may seem like, oh my God, it's just too much. I feel like this is going to be hard. Don't worry. You could always move your study hours, your meal times, and stuff like that. Don't feel like you're restricted. This is more of like, okay, I have an idea of how my day is going to look like. Okay. Okay, so we are going to go to the next slide. So, another thing that I want y'all to consider is that EOP actually has a study formula, and this is in the EOP UCSC website. We have this formula of when you're taking 15 units, it's in order to pass the class, they recommended studying 3 hours for each class, which means 45 hours. I know it seems like, wait, that's a lot of time, but they said it's recommended and you'll be able to pass your classes because you're studying enough. And then for breaks, I know I said 5 to 10 minutes, but actually you could do it up to 15 minutes and put a timer if you're gonna do that. So then you don't pass your break time. And for sleep, like I just mentioned earlier, is 7 hours is needed to function. Yes, we are college students. Yes, we have a lot of assignments, but your sleep matters when you're gonna be doing a lot of work throughout the day. And then another one is also consider your deadlines. Write down your deadlines, write it on your Google Calendar if you're going to be doing that. Write it on your agenda if you have a paper agenda, if you prefer that. Just write your deadlines. It's really great to do. So I made my own research on any free apps that can help you with this, which I feel like would be great. So there's 4 apps that I saw. One is My Homework. It's a planner that basically organizes all your schoolwork and any upcoming deadlines. So if you're like, you know what, this is hard for me, like I want something that will tell me like, okay, my school class, my classes and stuff, and then any deadlines I'll be having, My Homework would be great with that because it will remind you. Another app is called Flip. So Flipped is actually something that will help you focus and it will remind you on not being your phone that much, which will be great when you're studying. And then My Life Organized 3 is actually a type of app that makes you create like a to-do list and it reminds you like, oh, you have this to do. And I think that part, it will be great, as I mentioned earlier, about creating a to-do list, and you can make daily to-do lists. And then lastly is a Google Calendar. Google Calendar is actually free. You could have it on your app, on your phone, or you could have it on your desktop or Dell laptop. And you could have notifications and it will remind you and could either do like 10 or an hour before like having a class or something where it will remind you that. So yeah, these are the great free free apps that I am suggesting to download. And aside to that, if you have any other questions regarding with classes or budgeting or any other questions, feel free to email us, pals, at this email, eop.pals@ucsc.edu, or email EOP, which is eop@ucsc.edu. If you would like to make an appointment as well, you could do it through Slug Success, and you could get connected with a peer advisor leader or a counselor. So I'm just letting y'all know you could email us. We are available Monday through Friday, and if we don't reach back to you, someone else will, but we will contact you back. And yeah, so I really hope this workshop is very helpful and that y'all are able to manage your time a bit better now that everything is virtually online. But yeah, so thank you very much and we hope this is helpful.